everyone to this very short video on Metaverse. What is Metaverse? We all hear all the time what this term Metaverse, but often most of us lack clarity about it and what it is actually today and what it would look like in future. And in this video, Professor Nir Kshetri from North Carolina University, Greensboro campus, would be talking about these points. However, we also have two of my colleagues, Dr. Laurie Hughes, who will be also contributing to this discussion, and Dr. Nina Bele, who is Director General of International Metaversial Marketing Association, who will also be providing her input, as well as introducing Professor Nir Kshetri. So with this, I pass on to Nina. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogesh. So let me introduce Professor Nir Kshetri, who is, again, a professor at the University of North Carolina-Greensboro and a research fellow at Kobe University, Japan. Professor Kshetri has authored 13 books and more than 200 academic articles. Nir's work has been featured by hundreds of media outlets such as BBC, The Economist, Al Jazeera, Wall Street Journal, Public Radio International, Newsweek, and Scientific American, and Bloomberg TV. He is a two-time TED speaker, and we are very excited to hear his thoughts today on what the metaverse currently is and into what it might develop over the next couple of years.
Thank you very much, Nina, Yogesh, and Laurie. Metaverse is actually still evolving, and there is no clear definition. But in a recent article I wrote for Computer, there are kind of 5 features that many people are talking about what the metaverse should include. So basically, it is upgraded and improved version of the current internet, but how it can be improved depends on the kind of functions or tasks that it is being used and all those things. So one thing is, they are talking about one of the most important features is 3D virtual reality and augmented reality technologies, and they provide immersive and illusionary experience. So that is one feature that everyone is talking about. And also decentralized kind of system based on blockchain and cryptocurrencies, another feature that people frequently mention. And also interoperability among various platforms so that people can take their identity and assets when they move from one platform to another platform. That is the third feature that they talk about. And people might be represented by digital avatars, and that is the fourth feature. And fifth is there is the real-time synchronous communications. So these are the features, 5 features I found, but and any given metaverse doesn't have to have all these 5 kind of different features. For example, there are a lot of 2D, two-dimensional metaverse. One example is the Gather Town, where a lot of people go and do meeting and collaboration. It has hundreds of millions of users. It is only 2-dimensional. And if you look at many of the most developed metaverse today, like the Horizon World or the Roblox or Fortnite, and they are not really decentralized. They are actually centralized platform. So basically, again, these 5 features are important, and not all of them have to be present in the current thing. So second thing, what exactly is the current situation of the metaverse, the stage of development? And if you look at the current stage of development of the metaverse, specifically, we can talk about 3 different types of metaverse. One is the enterprise metaverse, where companies can collaborate for different types of activities for their company in the workplace, which could be internal collaboration, like, for example, for the human resources and doing other types of team collaboration, or that could be external, like providing customer services and product development and marketing communications. So that's where the enterprise metaverse looks like. And some people consider industrial metaverse as a kind of subset of enterprise metaverse, but many people also consider it different. And so industrial metaverse is basically there are the machines and factories and buildings and cities and supply chain and grids, and all those have digital twins. And there are technologies such as artificial intelligence and 5G, 5th generation cellular networks are incorporated. And the idea here is those digital twins allow these companies to simulate the activities, different manufacturing activities going on. And so all this will help plan the things, analyze what is going on, and if there is any wrong thing that is likely to happen in the future, they can even stop it. That is the idea in the kind of industrial metaverse. And finally, if you look at the consumer metaverse, where actually people play, work, and shop, and all those things, play games, for example, and this is where people have actually their second lives that they mention, that they maintain in the consumer metaverse. So, and the things that are mentioned by consumer, represented by metaverse, and they may not really exist in the real world. So there are three types of metaverses. And if you look at the current stage, and actually industrial metaverse is quite developed. Many companies are already using that to improve efficiency and to enhance, promote sustainability. One example is the Renault Group, the car company, and actually it has been doing that industrial metaverse for more than 3 years, at least since 2019. And it was reporting a few months back that it was kind of able to receive something 300 alerts about different things going on in the company's factories, and stopped a lot of those kind of stoppage of those production stoppage, or prevented using metaverse. And so it is expecting to save something like 300 million euro by 2025 using this metaverse. And so BMW, another company, has 31 factories all over the world. All of them have digital twins where the teams can develop product and kind of develop new product, design new products, and operate factory in a more efficient way, and all that thing going on in the BMW factories. And also many companies like the retailers here in like Kroger, Amazon.com, Lowe's, all of them are using industrial metaverse to kind of design their stores better, provide better experience to customers, and deliver fresh products on time. And these companies like PepsiCo, or even the Deutsche Bahn, the German train company, has been utilizing the industrial metaverse. If we look at, in general, metaverse, it is really kind of all the companies are incorporating that very rapidly. And in the US, the Security and Exchange Commission, the public filing of all the companies in the commission, if you look at that, in 2022, the first half of 2022, metaverse term was mentioned 1,100 times. And if you compare that with the 2021, only 260 times total. And if you consider a decade before that, fewer than 12 times. So basically, companies are really integrating metaverse rapidly. And consumer metaverse, like if you maybe the biggest consumer metaverse platform probably is Roblox. And last year, this time, 2022, February, Roblox had actually more than 55 million daily active users, and they collectively spent about 3.8 billion hours on the platform, spending hundreds of millions of dollars of their real money. And so in the metaverse, the investment is something like 120 billion US dollar, only the first 5 months of 2022. That is a lot of investment. And actually consumers purchased about $110 billion of digital goods on the metaverse, especially the virtual fashion. So kind of especially industrial metaverse and consumer metaverse are developing really well. So this is about what exactly the metaverse is, and based on my research and the current state. Now, okay, let's look at what the future will look like in 5 or 10 years time. That's what you guys asked me to talk about. So maybe, a lot of encouraging things going on in the future. As I already mentioned, $120 billion investment only in the first 5 months of 2022. But other things are taking place. Like we are talking about currently, a lot of all of us mainly use the 4th generation cellular technology, and in some places like all these industrial metaverse use the 5th generation, but they are doing a lot of research and development to develop the 6th generation technology, which might be launched in a few years time. And they say that 6th generation technology is actually technology for the metaverse. Automatically it incorporates the extended reality like augmented reality and virtual reality and mixed reality. Things are automatically there, and that is one encouraging development. And so compared to industrial and consumer metaverse, enterprise metaverse has not developed very well. The challenge is, if you look at the headsets and all these technologies that are currently kind of developed, and they are not really quite good, and so users do not feel like kind of spending a lot of time kind of collaborating and doing things in the industrial metaverse. The most recent one, the Meta company launched the Meta Quest Pro headset in October, I think last year, and it cost $1,500, and a lot of demo that the company gave to journalists and reporters and other people, and actually none of them really found that it is interesting. They are actually able to use the most sophisticated headset that exists in the market today and spending a lot of time. It's only Meta developed that. There are a lot of reports published here in the US that Meta employees even do not want to spend a lot of time on that one. That is so bad. And so basically, like, again, they are investing a lot of money, and this might develop in the future. So if you look at the consumer side, and we talked about the industrial side, the 6th generation technology might kind of facilitate a lot, and the enterprise side, the headset and other technologies are developing. And in the consumer application, the gaming is the most kind of developed application currently. But game is for these rich people mainly from Europe or the US or some of the Asian countries, because gaming really requires all these kind of hardware, very sophisticated, most importantly, data center. Data center has to be developed in the city or close to where the users are, which is not currently the case. And if we look at the African gamers, actually, African gamers, to have a good gaming experience, the data centers should be hosted in Africa. And it is not currently the case. Many of these gaming platforms do not have that. And they measure the time in ping, they call, and so it is between 120 to 200 microseconds for African gamers, compared to only, I think it is 20 microseconds for the European gaming users. So they cannot really have good experience with this slow transfer of data. And those things are improving, because even Microsoft has, and all these companies are developing data centers all over the world. So all these developments are encouraging, and so that might help the development of the different types of metaverses, like industrial and enterprise and consumer metaverse better. And you guys also asked me to talk a little bit about my research that I'm doing currently, and maybe I'll spend maybe 30 seconds, a minute on that one. So basically, we published a couple of papers with you guys about Metaverse, and other papers I'm also kind of researching currently. And one thing that I'm really interested is about how these low-income people from developing countries can also benefit from Metaverse. It should not be only for the rich people like you and me, so how those people develop and how the countries can kind of improve their different national strategies, and those things that I'm currently looking at. And so basically, given the infrastructure limitations that they currently have, which are the metaverse applications that they are kind of that are good for the developing countries people. And also maybe like it is, if you look at the cultural products and artifacts like this concert and all those things, that is currently mainly dominated by US artists, so they go and perform all over the world, do concert and all that thing, but you cannot really see a lot of these Indian artists or the artists from Thailand and performing in other parts of the world. But Metaverse can facilitate that. They perform that on Metaverse, and so it is almost as good as the real world. Actually, there is one company in Thailand, it already invested $7 million to develop platform, and one very popular Indian Bhangra dancer, singer, performed on Metaverse on the Republic Day in 2022 last year, and millions of people, especially of Indian origin, watching that from all over the world as if it is like real. So things are improving, exporting cultural products in the international. Maybe healthcare, and already I think there was one widely reported story that one of the British surgeon and many from all over the world performed a surgery on the Metaverse real time for the Brazilian twins, actually. So those types of things are kind of those developing country population who live in rural area and do not have access to healthcare. Maybe Metaverse might help that in the future when all these technologies develop. And other things that I'm currently working is kind of privacy and security and ethical, social, and environmental aspects, and also how different areas on functional areas in the business can be kind of improved with Metaverse. So these are some of the things that I have been doing. And yeah, I also kind of summarizing this. And so this is currently, of course, in the infant stage of development. That's what we can say, but the future probably is bright, given that a lot of investment in technology and things taking place, entrepreneurial things taking place all over the world, and bright future. And thank you again for this opportunity. And I think I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, Nir. That's fantastic. Thank you. And now I pass on to Nina for her remark. Oh, sorry, I pass on to Laurie for his remark before we go to Nina. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much, Nir, for that presentation. And you really hit home on some of the major aspects of the metaverse. And you talked about disenfranchising certain users based upon economic factors, but also, of course, there could be demographics where perhaps older people now who perhaps have some barriers for technology and find it difficult interacting with the internet, even mobile phones. And you can imagine a scenario where they're cut off from the metaverse as it gains wider adoption. And of course, some of the things that we're working on in terms of research, some of the negative aspects of widespread adoption of the metaverse. So things like safety and security, perhaps some deviant behaviors and things like that, and thinking about how the metaverse would be used as we've got more and more people on there. You can imagine a future scenario of perhaps a seamless interaction between social media and the metaverse itself, where you're immersed in both environments in a very seamless way. How can more vulnerable groups be protected in these sorts of environments? That the interactions you make in a social sense, how do you know that the people who you are interacting with in an avatar sense have honorable intentions, etc.? What are the risks then for vulnerable users in those sorts of environments? And you articulated very well, how the future will perhaps fold out. There's an awful lot of things in terms of research we can focus on, also not to let big tech rule the agenda in terms of governance. We as a research community have to get our views out there, what the challenges are, and try and hopefully influence events as best we can. Thank you very much. Yogesh?
Thank you, Laurie. Now I pass on to Nina for her remark.
Thank you, Yogesh, and thank you, Nir, for your view, for sharing your view on the metaverse right now and also in the future. I think one point that also hit home from my side is that we currently are still able to develop the narrative around the metaverse, because we do not, as Laurie already just started to say, don't want the tech companies, the big five, so to speak, to rule the world in a way, but we want to be part of this. And we as a research community indeed have the chance to answer questions. We need to have a discourse with the industry, with the various players that are out there that are dealing with the issues important in this incredible development state. I mean, we're looking here at a development spanning industries across the entire globe, and for that, communication is difficult, even in the time with the technology that we have. So while providing multifaceted opportunities for society as a whole, and for all the people that might have not, that usually don't have that much easy access to technological developments, and also to the developed countries in which we are living, and to all the benefits that we already have, I think what is really crucial is that we start having good discussions with all the players and all the people, and so that we share a common ground that is good in the end for all of us. And I'm very glad to be part of IMA. IMA is, as Yogesh already said, a global cross-industry alliance that is set up to advance the knowledge about the metaverse, and specifically show organizations, brand, and other creators to better engage with all the audiences out there using new and upcoming immersive technologies. And we do this with strong industry partners such as Amnesty International, for example, the World Bank, the Grammys, the World Federation of Advertisers, to just name a few. And we recently set up a research group with the aim of facilitating international research collaborations between academic and knowledge institutes, joint funding opportunities, and a closer alignment with those industries. And I would like to take the chance to invite those of you who are working in this domain to become part of our research group. There's no cost involved. You can just simply contact me or Yogesh directly or through LinkedIn. And let's start this narrative together and let's shape it as much as we can in the best possible way. Thank you, Yogesh.
Thank you so much, Nina, for your remark, as well as giving some information about IMA and research group. We hope to hear from many people who are working in this area and become part of it. It's important thing. It's important kind of beginning. It's a new era that is starting, and we all have responsibility to shape it together. And therefore, I think creating awareness, working together on research to understand the issues that may arise in future. For example, Laurie mentioned the number of dark sides are there that we need to understand, not only to manage the society, but as well as to shape this technology in positive direction. So this particular, short talks are in effort to create awareness. And this is one of the many talks that we will be doing and we will be sharing with you all. And hopefully you will get useful information and which you would or may like to pass on to others so that others may also benefit. With this, thank you so much, everyone. And we will see you all in next video.